thing is going on. So this is a conversation, you said it best. It is a conversation we got to have. And let me tell you this. It doesn't matter if you say, I'm going to go through your phone. You can go get several aliases that they would never find. You can get some.
You're giving people a blueprint to cheat.
Okay.
Go ahead. Go on. You started now.
I know. You should have told me don't do it, Mario. Well, see, you got fake apps on the phone. It looks like an innocent app, and it is one that is being utilized to cheat. And so it's a conversation that you got to really have in my mind and in my opinion. You got to really have that. And I don't think that you can ever have a real relationship without rules. There is no relationship that exists in the earth without rules. But you have to be bold enough to forge that conversation, because that's where the alienation starts. Then it doesn't always start with a kiss or something sexual. It starts with conversation. People are getting swindled out of thousands of dollars through plain old conversation. You know what I mean? And so I think that is it's a device jump off. Whenever you got guys like, the little guy that little black boy too, just got life sentence for killing his sister over the Wi-Fi because he wanted to play video games. So when we got grown men that come in the door, and before they even say, hey, baby, they got the control. They're ready to get on that game, and they don't want to be disturbed because that's the jump off. So now you got to go sit in their lap. So you sit in their lap trying to get some sugar, and they doing this. All right, baby. Yeah, baby. All right. Let me finish this game right now. All right, baby. All right. Come on.
Yeah.
It's real.
Right. And you value that over a real connection. I think for purposes of what we want to kind of accomplish tonight is this a reality? Because clearly I am way behind on a lot of this stuff. So
I got a good comment. I got a good comment from my friend Denise. Denise says, sometimes it's not photos. I've received DMs just with I'm interested in you from females. She said, I refuse to even start a conversation. Let me see what else she said. No, and no is what Denise said. I ain't even starting it. You see what I'm saying? I ain't gonna even start the conversation because the DM is dangerous. That's why they got a whole song like it go down in the DM. It does go down in the DM, and you can have multiple DMs. As even, what this was the old school way. I have had notes sent to me in revival. Now I'm gonna tell you this. That said to me, I can't sit in the front tonight because when I look at your mouth, I'm no good.
You better send that note back to the visiting pastor's wife and tell her don't be writing dirty note.
What do you do when it comes from the pastor's wife? What you gonna do when it's the pastor's wife?
Listen, you better get the bag at the end of the night, go out the back door, right? Go and get your offering, raise the offering like you normally would. Keep handling business.
Absolutely.
Right? And get on out of there. Right.
But that was the old that was the old school way. But now you got DMs. So it can happen at any given time. And there are no parameters there. So now this is the thing with emojis. You can almost disguise your intent. Like Denise said, it just says, I'm interested in you. It can come across as, hey, listen, you look great today. I was just letting you know, I thought you looked great today. And it starts that conversation. That's why it's very important for you to be able to discern what is the intent of this if you ain't trying to get into that.
Yeah.
Because it really and it's seductive. It is a seducing kind of a thing. And it becomes interesting where people are sitting up waiting on the thing, the notification to go, oh, they texted me back. And then it becomes more and more, your heart starts racing because you're looking to see what they're going to say next. You get anxious. I've heard people say, I get anxious if they take too long to text back. Because now I'm wondering if they're really interested, or if I didn't hear back from them, I can't hardly go to sleep. This is real, people. This is real. And so it's real.
Listen, this is what they need to do. They need to go to mariocbrown.org. They need to sign up for session. Because if all you do is spend your day trying to figure out who texting you back if they calling you, and it's too much because you can't be productive that way. And this is
Right.
not even being judgmental, you know. I mean,
No.
yeah, if somebody you're interested in, of course you want to hear from them. But when it becomes crippling, which is what I think you're saying, like anxiety causes a lot of problems in the body.
Right.
It messes with your psyche when you have a high level of anxiety. You have to think about that. But I guess for me, it's a little bit difficult. Maybe I just got too much going on.
Well, you do. And so do I, because I already know that I kind of understand when I get, DMs now, like somebody will send me something like, it'll sound like they really, really want to make an appointment, or I really want a session or whatever. And you can already kind of tell, and only because I've had experience in this being in church so long, you kind of know where this is trying to go. You know what I mean? And you have to avoid it. But I want to shift the conversation just a little bit, and I'll pose a question to you, and you tell me what your thoughts are. So let's take a marriage, right? How do you feel the conversation should go concerning devices? Because everything that we've laid out tonight, we understand the possibility. How does a person forge a conversation concerning the device? Because what I've witnessed and really had to talk to couples through is my device is my business. We know we had a show not long ago. Is it okay to go through passwords or have passwords to phones or what have you? But it is a big, big issue. So on the front end, because we talk about a lot about being proactive, we talk about having the conversations up front. What is your opinion concerning how do I forge this conversation? How do I evoke it? How do I start it? And what should be the rules?
Well, first of all, the rules I think is really based on what the couples decide, what the couple decide that they want to do. If you don't really care, if you're like me and I could care less about go through my phone, I don't have time for that. I'm a goose and gander type of person, right? So if you want access to all of my stuff, I need access to yours too, or you're not getting access to mine. Like let's just go and be equal,
Right.
You're not going to get access if I can't get access, but I'm open. I don't really care about people having access. Because at the end of the day, my rule, and again, this is Latanya, is before you ask me about anything, you better check the date. Check the date, because more than likely, if it's something you're mad about, it is before you and I had anything. Okay? And if it wasn't, you have every right to ask me about it, and we're going to talk about it. Now, when I'm dealing with people that are married, that's a little bit tricky, because for me, like, you're kind of in something that's a little bit more permanent than the rest of us. And so the way that I think you need to deal with that conversation is before you say I do. Any of y'all that follow me know that's one of my hashtags. And I talk about all the things that you need to have the conversations about. This is one of those things. The reason that access to me, for purposes of what I do, is so important is that if something happens to that person, somebody needs to know, what were you doing right before?
Sure.
Right? It's a safety thing. And you guys hear me talk about that all the time. This really can save your life, to know where were you, who have you been communicating with over this short time frame, because now we can't find you and you're missing and your phone is at home, or you pass away. And so there are things that people need to be privy to that's locked in your phone because you didn't want me to have access to your phone. So this is sort of the way that when I deal with couples, this is kind of how the conversation goes, because we are talking about access to things that your future wife or future husband will need so that they can handle family business. Now, it does give that opportunity, and it allows us to lead into that conversation, the general conversation of having that information. A lot of couples, what they do, they just merge their social media pages. It ain't
right.
two
I've seen
pages, it's just one. You ain't got IG, or you ain't supposed to have one, or Snapchat, and we share all the information. Now that doesn't mean somebody don't have a private incognito page.
Right.
But in terms of what the agreement was that you're not going to have a private page. I'm not going to have a private page. But when it comes down to access, I think that's really up to the couple. But
well, let me say this. This is what I think. And I'm real absolute on this. If you're not done with the streets, stay out of a relationship. That's just how I feel. If you're not done, if you're not ready to just give that up, then don't commit to a relationship, and we can avoid all of that. In my opinion, that's what you need to do, because it becomes totally outrageous to always be suspicious. Who you over there texting? I'm sitting right here. So you're sitting up here, we're supposed to be talking, and you got your device, and this is what you're doing. And every few minutes you're doing this while you still looking at me, you're still doing this. You see, and what's got you? Every time I look around, you're doing this. Your phone is going off. Then you start acting suspicious. Why you not responding now? You see, and so it becomes totally a bunch of anxiety. Let me just say it like this: you develop a bunch of anxiety trying to figure out what this person is doing, because you really know it's possible. You know it's possible, and no matter what happens, eventually, I think everybody starts wondering, who's got your attention on their phone so much? Or here's a good one: you pull up. We supposed to be going somewhere. You pull up in front of my house and sit in the car on the phone, still texting. And then you come in and I see you out there now. And now I'm wondering, what you doing? What took you so long? Now, some people say, well, that's your insecurity. No, that's where we are. That's where we are. You see what I mean? So I get it when people are like, okay, but see, everybody's not insecure, but we do have to be very conscious. We have to be conscious.
I ain't insecure, but I'm going to ask you about it.
Absolutely. Me too.
The question does not mean that doesn't make me insecure. Right now I'm curious.
That's what it is.
Right.
That's
right now, right. Question number 1, I'm curious.
Yeah. That's what I want to know.
Question number 5, I'm suspicious.
Right.
Right. Because now I got to keep asking you the same thing. Clearly it's a problem. And so I think I think part of what we've accomplished, which is what we wanted to do, was to get people to think about see themselves in this. Mm-hmm. One of the things that I've personally started doing, like if I go out to dinner with someone, or for drinks or something like that, I put my phone down in my purse, and I have it either on vibrate or silent, because usually it's on silent, because even if it's vibrate, you know it's buzzing. Sure. So somebody's trying to get in touch with you. And so I try to be courteous in that. But I don't necessarily tell the other person that they can't check their phone, but when they don't see me doing it, typically they'll say, oh, my bad, let me put my phone up. Because They ain't see me pull my phone out. I don't say anything about it. And then so it makes it where I don't have to say anything about it. But again, like your post that you mentioned, now the phone is everything. It's the clock. Sometimes you just want to know what time it is, because you don't wear a watch now, because you handle everything through your phone. So there are reasons why people would be looking at their phone now. If you're on a date with somebody and they're looking at the time every 10 minutes, it might be time to go. I mean, clearly they're not having a good time, or they got somewhere else to be, and that's fine. But I want to encourage everyone, before we close tonight, I want to encourage everyone to look at yourself first, right? Mm-hmm. We've talked about a lot of things. We've laughed a lot, but I think the serious part of what we're talking about is, are we alienating ourselves, not just from our significant other, but even our children, our parents, and our siblings and other people? Are we spending more time on devices than doing other things that can be more constructive? We had kind of toyed with the idea of just asking people, would you do a challenge, right? Where, let's say you think about, okay, this is the area where I feel like I am kind of on my device, and it can be like picking the kids up from school. A lot of people, now your kids are going back to school. Think about this week, the rest of the week, maybe from today, Tuesday or Wednesday to Sunday. When you pick your child up, or you come in contact with your child, can you stay away from your device from the time you pick that child up to the time you get them ready to go to bed? For some people, that's 4 hours, 5 hours. Can you be away from your device that long? Are you willing to do it? Because if you off work, you already gave the people your 8 hours or 12 hours or 10 hours. You ain't getting paid. If you salary, listen, if you cut it off when you leave, you're still going to get the same amount of money, even if you're available a couple hours later. Right?
And you've been,
no more money.
Right, and you've been on Facebook all day at work anyway, too. So here's the other thing. I thought about it when we were talking about the challenge.